Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're on our way to Spa. We are continuing a grind. We are aiming to purchase our last 16 or so cars in the game, and a couple of those are 20 million. So we bought one last night and we have to keep pushing. We've got less than 1 million credits. We're going to the World Touring Car 800. This race nets you 1.5 million credits with the clean race bonus, and it takes an hour. And we're using today GR1 prototype cars of a PP of 800 competing against a circuit full of GR3s. We're going to have all three tyre types available, so we've really pinned the car down to what it can do. And a lot of people have been saying just add weight to the car. You can do much more with your setup if you want to. Well, I've honoured that, and I'm going to take you through the settings now. Today we're in the R18 16. We're going to use racing softs, and we're just coming in the PP at 799.90. Settings will be fully customizable suspension, everything default, fully customizable diff, everything default. We've got the downforce to the rear at 2000, at the front we're at 1273, so 3/4 of what's available. Fully customizable ECU pegged to 78, and as you can see there, the brake horsepower is only 276. So adding the additional process has really pegged the brake horsepower, but we'll just have to see where that goes. We've got ballast added, 163 kilos, centre of the car, just to enable us to get some power out of the car. And with that, we've got the restrictor pegged to 70. So you can see the rev range is only to 5,500 RPM. It's a VR6, which I'm assuming at this point is a TDI diesel, a V6 diesel. At some point, that amount of power has got to really cap the top end of the rev range. So with that, top speed's going to be limited. So we've got the customizable racing box set to 370. That's probably incredibly long, but we'll just have to find out when we get to the track. There were no other adjustments available to make. We haven't added a turbocharger. We have got the brake balance control, and as you can see, it's set to the middle. We'll move that later. Let's get to the track. For this event, it's the 24-hour layout, and this race is 60 minutes. If you've been following this series, you'll be used to it by now. Settings will be assists, traction control 1, ABS weak, and counter steer assistance on strong. We're going to use that to make the grind easier. Controller settings, it's a G29, controller steering sensitivity 5, force feedback max torque 7, force feedback sensitivity 7. There isn't much for waiting around for. Let's dive straight into this, but first let's just make sure we've purchased the wet tyres. There we go, we've made that mistake before. Here we go. So the battery in this hybrid car depletes almost instantly. Touch the brake to get the power back, and we're on top of it though. We've got some pace. Whoa, a bit of a tweak from Mr. Wilk, but that's it for power. We've run out of speed. We've got nothing more. Into fifth. We've got a shed load amount of fuel though. So what we've got to do is rely on the fact that potentially we're going to be hyper economical, and we've got extreme downforce and speed through corners, so we can absolutely rattle around corners as long as we can make the overtakes. Roughly 27 laps for the race on a good car. We should be able to one-stop this if we're compliant with the weather. No batteries. Incredibly slow car. But we're flat out virtually everywhere. We are having to brake for the corners, of course. But you can see we're making progress through the traffic just because of corner speed. Exceptional cornering. So 17th. Through the fast corners, not so good, I don't think. It really needs more oomph, this car, doesn't it? But we had to add the weight to give it more power. Suppose we could have stuck to the hard tyres. As you can see, the tyres aren't going to wear incredibly well as we get caught by Mr. Wilk. But they wear it well. Rod Stewart enters the mix. Bit of power for the acceleration out the hairpin, or the chicane, sorry. As we approach the hairpin, we will stamp on the brakes very late. Touch Mrs. McEwen's backside. It's Mrs. now, not Miss. I think that was Maggie May, wasn't it? The Rod Stewart tip. Here we come, fourth gear along the straight, 132 mile an hour. It's, yeah, pretty slow old go, isn't it? 15.6 on the laps, so we can definitely one stop this if we've got it. We've been behind these guys for almost a lap now. Miss McEwen's made a couple of passes. Oh, you shouldn't brake there, you donkey. We've now got front damage, which will affect the aero for a moment. Making good moves around the outside up to 12th position, and we're going to get caught again. I know we are. That first lap time was a 2:05. It'd be indicative to see where this comes in. Maybe 2:20, 2:25, 2:30 maybe. Just plodding along the RPMs, 4,000 RPM. Just running a bit wide as we got approached there from behind. Brake late. Mr. Cookabun trying to push his way in. Leaves himself to car width, but he's not going to get that benefit. 20 seconds from the lead now in 12th place. Just got to be progressive. We've just got to cut through this traffic. Mr. Cookabun tries to come up the inside, and he makes it. We run out of battery power and lose that to him, and Mr. Wilk now comes alongside. Miss McEwen comes back. We're just being outpowered here. Oh. Mr. Wilk brakes as he goes up Eau Rouge, which is just so rude. Miss McEwen, can we get your draft? We can feel the draft working. We're losing it all, aren't we? Oh. I doubt the ability of this car at this point. We get shoved by the 17th place car. We shove him back. Mr. Kawakami was just a little bit forceful for my like. Mr. Bishop, who we've had many battles with, will take the low line. Keep it nice and tight. We've really got to take the benefit of running the faster line through the corners. I wish I could choose when to deploy the power rather than just under acceleration. Just squeeze around the outside of Mr. Wilk, up the inside of Mr. Cookabun, just finding the place to make the overtake. Mr. Rubilar in front. Let's see if we can gain a little bit through that corner. So 13.8 laps left. We're on lap 3. We're moving towards lap 4. We're going to get run over again as we come down here. I'm going to stay tight left, giving the line to Mr. Wilk. He gives it up. I'm going to stay tight down the inside here. crossover to the left, brake late. Cut back across the front of Mr. Wilk. He has to give it up. He can't do it from back there. Into 12th place again, 24 seconds from the front. Mr. Hizal and Mr. Frog are really pushing hard. So quite a difference to the other cars we've used with this type of setup. We've really penalised this car with that extra weight, trying to get the power. It's really interesting that we've also gone for the front end downforce as well to try and give it that turning, but as you can see, those racing softs are just not wearing at all. Lap 4, we're getting caught here. Cookabun, Bishop, Wilk. We'll go around the outside of Cookabun, try and hold it. We've done it. And now we'll try and use that benefit to try and catch this pack again. If we can bridge that gap. Because there's quite a gaggle in front of us. We should slip down the inside of Rubberlart. Line up Mendoza and Lopez. See if we can get the draft here. Just going to block the inside line there for Mr. Miazano. He's not going to... wasn't really blocking, I was just taking the inside apex, just making sure I was holding the line that is mine. Being the car in front, I have the right to pick the line that I want to be on. Within certain rules, of course. You can't necessarily swerve. And you can't make more than one defence in the braking zone. So if I move left off the racing line in the braking zone, I can't move right in the braking zone. I have to move that one direction, then hold my line. Now technically, if I was moving back to the line, that still counts as defending. So you couldn't move to the line and then to the left and then move to the right to block a move on the right hand side. You've made your one move in the braking zone. So if there's a car coming up on your left hand side, you move to the racing line to block that line, so you're going to pick up the racing line, and he moves to the right to attack. You can't move to the right to block him. That is unnecessary movement, and he's won at that point. So tried to sneak through the gap, kind of worked. We've got supreme, absolutely supreme cornering speed here. Our fastest lap of 2:25. Mr. Grady there, Tidgney running a 2:18.650. Mr. Yamanaka in front, lap 5. We've got plenty of fuel. I just realised we haven't moved the brake balance, have we? I don't think we need to. We're four-wheel drive. The front tyres are taking a bit of a beating. We could probably move the brake balance to the back. We've got rain, bottom left-hand corner. Now, on last night's race, we made the mistake, didn't we? If you watched the live stream, this wasn't a video for the channel. We made the mistake of pitting and taking wets right at the end of our stint. We didn't have a very fuel economical car, so if we'd have taken the slicks and it had rained, we would have had to stop again. And unfortunately we took the wets and it didn't rain, so we had to come in and change off the wets, and we had a really slow lap, and that slow lap was the difference at the end of the race, other than a couple of spins of course. But It'd be nice to try that car again without the mistake in taking the wrong tyres. But I'm just looking at this rain, just wondering what is going to be the impact of that rain. We know we're good for fuel, so we're coming up to, or almost 25% of the race time gone. So we've used over a quarter of a tank of juice. So we do have to fill up again. And at this point I feel if we filled up we'd make it all the way to the end almost. Yeah, I think we probably would. So we only have to stop for fuel once. We haven't got much more in the way of straight line speed. 130 mile an hour is your lot. But cornering speed is in the 90s, so epically quick with 30 seconds down on the leaders. We just have to make the right choice on tyres, don't we? And looking at it, we've got some heavy stuff spread amongst there. As fewer stops as possible, that's what we want. Let's charge our way down here. 90 mile an hour through that corner complex. 90 was the slowest in any one of those two long corners. That is quite a thing. 90 mile an hour through a 90 right, 90 left. That's just mental. But that's where this car massively benefits. If it had the straight line speed as well, oh la la, how good would it be? Right, looking at where we are, I think we need to pit and take the heavy wets. Looking at what's coming, I'm pitting and taking the wets. These guys have all carried on, but I'm going in. I'm going to risk an early one. As we brush the wall. Here we go. So we're taking the full wet ones and we're going to fill up all the way. This car is not aggressive on the tyres at all. Because of its speed, I would guess. But cornering wise, those tyres, those softs would last the entire race. Which would be epic. We can't beat any car standalone on a start. We can't head-to-head win at all. We're now going to be in last place, I would say. Inostroza's probably, he's just coming round, so we're going to be in 19th. And it's raining. What we've got to hope for is this rain is absolutely monumental. Third gear, 99 mile an hour. He's not coming in Inostroza. Though the leader of the race, Mr. Hazal, is just coming round 3/4 of a lap ahead of us. And the rain is already getting to the point where inters are going to be the required tyre. Our headlights don't feel particularly good. They are illuminating the track, but not tremendously. So what's our cornering speed? We're down from 90 to 60. 56 I saw there, and here it comes. All-wheel drive. We're not going to put any other help aids on. We're going to stick with what we've got. Here's Al's come to the pits. What will he go for? Will he go for inters or heavy wets? We're almost at the point where heavy wets are the preferred tyre, and that's going to end up in our favour. Yellow flags ahead. Overtaking prohibited. Overtaking prohibited. There's a car going slowly, and it is absolutely pummeling down. This car feels really planted. It's cookable. I can't overtake. Oh. That's ridiculous. I'm going to get the penalties now, aren't I? Yeah, 3 seconds. I didn't ignore a yellow flag at all. 3 seconds when we come round on the net lap. Okay, well, we're making gains now. We've got the speed. This is where we're going to excel. Overtaking prohibited. Am I going to get another penalty? Miss McEwen. 6 seconds. They're all going in the pits. Well, that's filth, isn't it? Right, we're into 9th place. We gained 10 places with a 6-second penalty. That's just rubbish. And it looks like we're going to come out in roughly 3rd place. We're into 3rd now. 50 seconds, 57 seconds behind Hizal, 20 seconds behind Fraga. .122 where we're normally doing 130. Innestrosa is all the way back there. We can see him on the map. 44 seconds now behind Hizal. And we've got to lay off the gas for 6 seconds, which is pretty rubbish, to be honest. We had control of the car. We weren't dangerous, he says. This track is incredibly wet. We don't have much in the way of power to cause it to go anywhere. It's just the amount of water we're coming across, and it's still absolutely pounding down. We're going to end up 50 seconds back, I would suggest, from Hizal. With this 6 seconds, unless they've got to pit. If they haven't pitted, they're doing tremendously well. Here we go, we're now going to get pegged back for, well, I would say Beauvoir will catch us. They're 44 seconds back and he's pulling away. See if we can recover this gap. .44, 16 seconds to Fraga in 3rd place, which isn't so bad. In this car, I don't feel we're going to make much of an attack at the lap record. Here comes the rain again. We should be able to make some gains in the heavy stuff. We should be able to really get some use out of this car. If we didn't carry so much downforce, we would probably really make up the speed on the straight, but we would lose the ability to cut through the corners quite as well as we do. Just making small incremental gains on the leading pair now. No wear on the tyres whatsoever. Haven't enjoyed that corner the last couple of laps. Fraga down to 11 seconds. Hizal just down lower than 40 seconds. I suppose we could have eased off, as I say, the downforce, but we would have probably have had to reduce the power. So, because if you ease off the rear downforce, the PP goes up. When you've got the rear downforce at 2000, you get more PP available because you're curtailing your straight line speed. And that's where we've tried to make a setup that really works well in the wet and round the corners. And here comes the rain again. Down to 34 seconds behind Hizal. Down to 7 seconds behind Fraga. We're going to start to be able to see Fraga soon. Not lifting at all. We go round the corner. Yeah, four-wheel drive working. There's 2 cars ahead of us there. We don't know who they are at this point. Is anybody going to the pits? No, it looks like both have gone round the corner. One of those is Fraga then. One of those will be a lap car, maybe an Astra. It'll be the Porsche. That looks like Fraga. Unless it's both Supras. "32 seconds to Hizal. There's cars coming out the pits there as well from the lower order. So there's lapped cars. Their blue flags being waved. That's Fraga, so that's the second place car. We're going to try and run him down the right hand side here if we can get to a slipstream, which I don't think we can. No, we're just seeing his tyre marks in the wet. We'll be able to brake much later than these boys. There is in Astra. In Ostroza. He's staying to the right. Fraga didn't make the inroads. Round the outside, Slim Shady, Slim Shady. Mr. Kawakami in 19th, so Inostroza isn't that far off the run. We're going to get penalised there, I think. We might not. We were braking as we went off. But we didn't do it for gain. We did it because we couldn't make the corner. So there's another pass. 26 seconds behind Hizal. The rain is still coming, but it looks like we're approaching the end of the rain. 35 seconds, so 25 minutes of the race just ticked past. So we're probably 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, it looks like we're into the quieter stuff, and the rain depth is getting less on the track. It's already washing away. 24 seconds now to Hizal. We're 7 seconds ahead of Fraga. .244 laps, that's incredibly slow. But we are on the wet tyres and we are just running laps. 24 seconds behind Hizal. That seems like such a long way. And he's coming to the end of the straight now. You can see him just in the top right hand corner coming to the chicane at the end. powering through. Here we go. 22 seconds back. We don't seem to be making massive gains now. The rain is now ever so light. Cornering speed is not coming back yet, but we're some 20 mile an hour down in the faster corners. Ooh. Wonder if lap time's going up. The end of the rain is nigh. We can see it in the distance. Not gaining quite as much as we were on Fraga at this point. Couldn't imagine doing this kind of car setup for 24 hours. That would be tremendous. "25 seconds, he's just pulled out some time on us. See if we can rev our way to the end where we like on fuel. We're lap 12. 11 laps of fuel remaining. We don't need to worry about that. Do we need to go and get inters and be potentially quicker? Or are we waiting for the next rain? Seeing how fast we can go, how far we can go on these wets. There's a dry line definitely appearing. I think we can do what we do on these tyres until we go and get a set of slicks. We know we don't need to fill up. We just have to keep it to a racing line. So whatever Hizal does, we do, I would suggest. This car can handle it. We're just going to try and beat him on fuel. 11 laps, that'll take us to 23. We need fuel by the sound of it then. "25 laps we're going to need to win this. We're halfway through. We've almost completed lap 12. Interesting. We're over halfway through. Lap times in the 35s. He didn't pit. There's no point pitting for inters. We might as well pit and go straight to a race tyre. Or let him pit and then stay on these tyres until it rains again, and then pit on the next set to race to the end. So that'll be 2 pit stops for him, 1 for us. That'd actually be what I'd like to do. Fraga is currently gaining on us behind. That's our fastest first sector of any point of the race. These tyres are now sliding around on the drying track. Just keep them wet. I do intend to do more with the tyre temperature monitoring, you know. We've got that app that we downloaded a while ago. I do intend to use that going forward. Might do it slightly differently. Might just get one of the dedicated spare telephones I've got. Get that plugged in. See if we can get that set up. See if we can use that. 26 seconds back. We've put half a second on Fraga. That's the end of the rain, really. As long as we're not running into the wet patches. I'm expecting Fraga to go to the pit now. He's gone in. He has gone in. He's on inters. He didn't take full wets. Interesting. We're going to pit as well, I think. It's going to dry for a while. Whatever he does, we do. Going to take the softs and we're not going to fuel. We've got 9 laps. We're probably going to have to pit again. Pretty much, I know we are. All we're going to do is change tyres and get on down the track. We're going to try and close some of that gap. Everybody's coming in. They were all on inters. Nobody took the wets. So how much of a gain? We were 28 seconds back. We should be able to gain in the pits and out the pits. 25 3/4 minutes remaining. It's going to be incredibly wet coming out the pits. Somebody's coming through Eau Rouge on a no stopper. They didn't stop. Somebody's coming past the exit here. Oh my lord, Mr. Solis. So we maintained the gap. Fraga didn't... Well, it was Hizal, wasn't it? Fraga carried on. So Fraga's got to pit at some point. We're just going to try now and run the dry line without touching the curbs. It's dry, the dry line now, fully dry. Gotta gas these guys to go off the wet line, off the dry line onto the wet. These guys are on their inters. Go sneak down the inside. Inostroza there being lapped. Right, this is where we've really got to make inroads. Got to get back up to the 90 mile an hour around the corners. Here we go. Beautiful. The sunrise is upon us. Track's going to dry out immensely. Fraga goes to the pits. Now we're going to know what the actual gap is to Hizal. It looks like 19 seconds now. So we gained 6 seconds through the pit stop. Purely by not taking fuel. I'm back into second almost. So they all carried on inters, look. There they are, all coming off the inters. They went one more lap thinking they'd make some gains. There we are, 20.715 to Hizal. So we know there's going to be at least one more stop. That fastest lap of the race won't come under threat from us. A 2:18.650. Even though we're a second faster at this point than we have ever been at this point of a lap. Brand new set of softs. Let's see how much we can get out of them. We're so disadvantaged by that slow pace, and it looks like rain bottom left hand corner. I'd have thought, you know, if we were on the wets we'd be in the lead now, but we'd be disadvantaged by those wets, and I don't know whether they'd last until that rain comes. Still quicker by a second at this point, and we have the wet line still being clearly there. It's the dry line stroke wet line, it depends which pit you're running on, doesn't it? Hizal's gone to the pits. I thought Hizal had pitted. He stayed on those tyres, didn't he? Why would he stay on those tyres? Did he just change tyres for a new set of inters? Wow. Seems an unnecessary pit stop. We're now going to go flying through. That wasn't our fastest lap of the race. So Hizal's build up to 100. Is he going to change tyres? I'm watching him. He went to mediums just as he came out there. So everybody's in the pits now. So we automatically go to a 21-second lead purely because they've pitted, we haven't. I'm looking at the rain. It looks like we're going to get a light downpour, then it's going to go moderate. I don't know whether it's going to be inters that are required or the full wets. I think we can manage the inters. 19 minutes just over of the race remaining. We're still gaining time on Mr. Fraga, who's got past Hizal. Here we go, rattling through. We're going to have to stop, aren't we? Looking at the green patches. The green patches are moderate rain. "18 minutes remaining of the race. We're on lap 17. Mr. Fraga goes to the pits. But don't get it. What's he going for? I mean, I think we'll get to the next pit stop before we need to make a choice of tyres. And we have to take fuel to take us to the end of the race, so based on a 2:30. Oh my word! We hit the wet part. We put a tyre on the wet and we just went straight on. Wowzers. I looked across at my timing chart just to confirm that we were doing 2:30 laps. And we were just doing just slightly quicker, and that's delayed us to get into the pits, hasn't it? We're going to get hit by some heavy rain now. Now we've just had that little off. Let's see if we can minimise the damage. 2:30 with 16 seconds to go. 16 seconds? 17 minutes to go. It's going to come heavy, I can see it. The slicks have got to go because the tyre now of preference is the intermediate. As we slide straight off the track. Now this car will turn if you lift the throttle. Here we go, here comes the heavy rain. We're 30 seconds ahead of Hizal. 31. Not got my foot on the throttle at this point. Let's get it round the corner. Yeah, we're going to Inters. It won't turn. I couldn't get it to turn at all. Got to go round that post and it still won't turn. Oh, come on. Now it's reset me. That means I'm going to miss the pits. It's going to keep resetting me until I... Is it? Yes, it's good. So we're going intermediates. And then we're going to refuel. That was just so disappointing. Oh. Can't believe it reset me there as I was going to the pit. So how much fuel? I think we need a minimum of 7 laps. 7 laps will guarantee us to the end. Will it guarantee us a win? I don't know. We've took 8. I think we've got the advantage because of the rain. Everybody's got to pit behind us. Hizal is miles out in front ahead of Fraga. Everybody else is back there spinning. And we get a 3-second penalty for cutting pit lane lines. Tremendous. It was wet. It was part of an accident, an incident. It wasn't deliberate. So we haven't got to the point where wets are the dependent tyre. Inters are still in. So we made the right call. We just made an absolute hash of the pit entry. It started early in that lap, didn't it? Bit of a disaster. All we've got to do is manage this to the end now. Keep running the same lap times as they are. Again, another race that dictates the capability of the driver versus the capability of the car. And I don't think the car is significantly bad in this. It's slow. It's got the pace through corners. It's demonstrated it can do what it needs to do. But it would make it a really interesting race with the AI trying to run this race with my setup. They would find it a real challenge. We just have to keep an eye out for this car. Who's this we're coming up against? Is this Bishop? It is. We've got a 3-second penalty to give up here. I guess he's stuck on a race tyre. And it's just gone to the heavy wets requirement. But there's the end of the rain right in front of us. We can see it in the distance. So the cloud cover's going to break. And these boys are running really slowly. They're just making it to the pits to get off their race tyres. The lead is now out to 50 seconds over his Al. Graphically, this game is brilliant. Absolutely superb. That's the benefit of consoles now. They really do have everything you need. There used to be a time where graphics, the thing was a PC, but, and I'm talking about from my generation, not from what you have now. I know it will be easy to argue that consoles have been as good for a long time, but that's purely relative. I'm really impressed at how both the Xbox and the PS5 are clearly great machines. Past Mr. Lopez. Keep these inters running really quickly. I think we can confidently say we're gonna really run quite fast to the end, or hard and fast to the end, in terms of being able to finish this race. Looks like his Al is just catching us a bit. 48.3, 48.1. That's going to be a 47 soon as we come hacking through this corner. Some nearly 30 mile an hour down on what we can do in the dry, and we've got the last little bit of rain before it starts to dry out again. In Astroza again, demonstrating the drift and slide capabilities of his Porsche. Gallo is just trying to charge past as well, keeping those two honest behind her. We're going to leave him the inside line, see if he wants to take it. He backs right out when we don't lift. Mr. Gallo not got it. So here's the end of the rain. Now we're into the drying phase. Potentially 4 laps remaining. So we definitely overtook the fuel. 52 seconds ahead of Hazal now. These tyres will last us all the way to the end. Don't really have to worry about pitting. We know the AI will pit, so that will mean ultimately we get another 30 seconds over the top of them. We're not lapping too many cars, which doesn't make this a very dominant car with its current fueling and speed capabilities. Fuel is absolutely awesome because it doesn't use any. And here's the sunshine, where we'll notice the drying track will come. We'll be able to change to inters, but sorry, race tyres. We're on the inters now and we can just keep them piling on. The spray coming off from the racing line there. We won't see that very often now with the drying track. Mendoza just backs out as he realises this is the race leader coming through. As we go into the last 7 minutes. Wouldn't be the car of choice for me. It should be easy to drive because it's slow pace, but you lift the throttle and it turns the corner. Is this any different effectively to the other cars? Yeah, well, the setup really is quite different. We've added weight to try and give it power, because without the weight it really is quite a struggler of a car. You don't really have much power at all, and with that you get more fuel capability, but it's interesting because it's just a different setup for a different type of car. So Mendoza and Gallo back there really battling. It's great to see. And with them battling, that'll give us the opportunity to try and catch the next pack. Tyres still aren't showing any wear at all. See if we can absolutely plough through Eau Rouge here. See if we can get out of the top and get along the straight. Will we get caught by the cars behind us? We definitely won't catch the cars in front. That's for the next half of the lap. Here we go. They've caught us. Front left, rear right, starting to show red. There is no need to pit whatsoever. These tyres aren't going to shred. No way. The rain is now almost gone from the radar. We are capable, very capable of getting to the end. I think there's a point in. Well, the slick tyres have now just become the primary tyre. But if you roll off that racing line, it could be critical. Is Al just starting to gain on us, just marginally. But there's no way he's on a race tyre. He's going to have to pit to get that race tyre for sure. If we pit, he'll pit. He won't just carry on and try and drive it to the end. We've got plenty of fuel. We've got 2 more laps to do, I would say. The next one and 1 more. Here comes Gallo. He's going to try and shoot us up the inside. He's not. It's Mendoza that comes darting up the inside, and he makes it. A great move. But then he runs wide. I'm going to block him out, but he has got past. That was a tremendous double dive in, but he was just carrying too much speed, wasn't he? And Gallo thought he could follow, but we weren't going to have any of that. We were just going to use the extremes of our car to keep that right. But Mendoza's ahead. Those boys are going to come charging past us on the next straight. As Hizal just pulls back 3 seconds on us. Blue flags for us. That means there's a slower car ahead. There he is. I say slower, that isn't the case, is it? They are much faster. There's the blue flags being waved and a held flag for us. Here they come. Mendoza and Gallo almost side by side. Gallo trying up the inside. And he pumps us, the leader of the race, off the track. I mean, that's filth. I'm just going to give him that back because that was just downright despicable. Put Mendoza back to where he should be. Are we going to win this with 23 laps? That'll make this the lowest lapping winning margin car there is. So the dry line is clearly there, you can see that now. Grady's gone to the pits. We have got perfectly good tyres to run us to the end. They're not the right tyre to run us to the end, but they are distinctly capable of getting us to the end if we just keep rubbing them on the wet bit. There we go. There it is. All the way to the end. Let's go. Grady's the only one to pit that I can see now. Somebody else has gone to the pit there. Yamanaka, it looks like. Oh, the Gallo's just got past again, but Gallo breaks off to go to the pit. And Mendoza just settles in behind us. On to definitely what is the last lap. Lap 23. So where is Mendoza going to get to? Is he going to overtake us? I think he is. I just want him to finish in front of Gallo. That would be a reward for him. Here he goes. I'm going to leave him the line. He's going to get through there. He's going to break in front of us though because of the blue flags. We're going to go back round. Kind of works against him, that, doesn't it? He's going to get past us again here though, I would think. He'll come charging. Hopefully he's going to clear us and be away from us before the corner, because he's now going to get the blue flags and have to give it up. He just messes up there. He just leaves us the line. Does he though? He does. He needs to be faster than Gallo, but here's the thing. There's not going to be another lap, so he is ahead of Gallo, which is great to see. Izal did pit. As he pitted to give up that place, he's got plenty of fuel. He didn't need to change off those tyres. Is Grady going to make it back having pitted the previous lap? That's going to be the battle. We're 51 seconds ahead of Izal. It looks like he's stopping for a long time. There he is, 117, Izal 118. So we've picked up quite a respectable margin over the cars behind us, but an unusual victory plucked from the jaws of defeat. Grady actually takes the flag, and Fraga, so they're only just ahead of us here coming down the straight. All of those boys are going to just be starting their final laps because they've gone past the start-finish line. So Izal is going to be streaming round to pick up second place, and he's probably going to be the last car to finish, in all fairness. And here we are, Mendoza comes round to take the final flag. We take it. 1 hour and 44 seconds gone. No chance for fastest lap, but there she is. A really, really decent effort from that car. Unusual low power. Battery power doesn't give you anything, but it's a great setup, it's a great car, and it's enough to win the race without the mistakes of the driver. So everybody lapped except the car in second place, and Kawakami and Inestrosa just the 2 laps down. Fastest lap went to Mr. Grady, who finished in third place, a 2:18.650 in the LMS Evo. What a great result. And this should be 1.5 million with the clean race bonus, which we didn't get because we overtook under yellows. There is the worst result possible. Oh, broken heart. 98.1 miles. We're up to 1.78 million, and we've got to keep going. Well, there you have it, folks. Not the best result, but it's still a win, and it's still capable, and you can do the same. We'll see you on the next one. All the best, folks. Take care. Goodbye for now.